say good morning, Belize, and good morning, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Belize. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show. It is a Tuesday today, right?
Tuesday.
Is that Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir. It is a Tuesday. It's the
Troy is with
23rd day of June, Ernesto, and it's pretty moist outside. It's overcast, and we're getting a little bit of rain, and the forecast call for a little bit more during the course of today. But first, let's say good morning to you, our viewers and listeners throughout the length and breadth of this beautiful jewel of ours. And those of you streaming in the diaspora, we're certainly glad you could join us. And no, I did not sleep here, but nonetheless, certainly glad to be here this morning. And we trust that our discussion this morning will be informative and entertaining. The Bolido draw took place last night. Ernesto, is 44.
44 played.
44, double. 4-4 played last night. So if you won, congrats. If not, another draw comes up same time at 9:10 p.m. right here on Love FM and Love Television. So you got to be in it to win it.
That's right. Most of the show this morning is, well, dedicated to you. We want to hear from you and want you to join us. But also we'll be calling in a guest for a segment of the show in the person of Mrs. Sajid Ali, who's the UNICEF acting representative here. That is UNICEF. And what these organizations do here, sometimes we are not fully aware. Anyway, we'll be talking about him and UNICEF, which is actually the UN's arm dealing mostly with children and their conditions across the world. Well, we'll find out more about that. But like I said, we'll be also talking with you.
Yes,
so
indeed,
you can join us.
Yes, indeed. Ernesto, I just want to say before we quickly go to break, I sent you a flyer, William. This Saturday night is the finals game 1 for the National Elite Basketball League, semi-pro league that comes up to this weekend on Saturday right at the Belize City Center. It's game 1 between the Orange Walk Running Rebels, the Belikin Orange Walk Running Rebels, and the Belize City Defenders. And we are urging everybody to come out to watch this game.
That's on Saturday?
Saturday evening.
Yeah, for a good basketball game.
Yes. It's probably one of the biggest match, one of the most anticipated head-to-head, combat, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
For a very, very long time. I mean, there's never been a more anticipated game and a most anticipated clash. And so we kind of urge everybody to come out. You don't want to miss it. It's certainly going to be taking place at the Belize City Center, so all roads lead to the Belize City Center this Saturday evening.
This is the first of the...
This is game 1 of a best-of-5 series. So it's a best-of-5 game 1.
And what teams are...
It's going to be the Belikin Orange Walk Rebels and the Belize City Defenders.
Okay.
And so, during the season, they split their the games one-on-one, and so people believe that, we need to see which is the most dominant team for this year. And, for me, I'm extremely biased. I'm biased towards the Belikin Orange Walk Running Rebels. And
why?
Because that's my team. And so I have no qualms in where my support.
That, right?
Yeah, no qualms at all. But nonetheless, I urge, firstly, everybody from Orange Walk who could make it, want you to be there this Saturday night to add your 6-man voice, because the fans make a huge difference in boosting your team morale. And so we want our fans to be in there with all their horns and all the trimmings that goes with
what does
making
it
noise.
take to manage one of these teams?
Very expensive. It's a very expensive venture, but it's also
a lot of your time too, right?
Absolutely, it's a full-time job, especially for those who are managing the team, because the team is also equipped with a couple of imports or foreigners. You have to, so you have to cater to them as well. Practice time, You have to be able to deal with injuries, deal with all the other things that goes along with it, plus their personalities too.
Yeah.
So it is a full-time job. It's like running any organization, you know, and then you have to prepare for games.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do your X and O's. You have to have coaches also in tune. You have to be able to watch the films. You have to be able to do all of those things because it's a very intense week to week.
I know here we say that we don't, because of the size of the audience and the lack of resources, we can't run a team like you do in the big countries. It's actually an investment you make. It's,
Yes.
you buy a team, and you're not doing it for charity.
Yeah, you'd want to be able to turn. So far, it has never been a profitable venture. It's more a labor of love. But at the end of the day, we get opportunity for our young people because if you not everybody will be able to go to, say, some foreign colleges or play in any international league to earn more, but you get an opportunity to earn a decent stipend playing here in Belize. So at least it gives you a sort of upward mobility, gives you something to shoot for even on a domestic level. And so if you're a young person, say in high school right now playing, one of your dream would probably to be playing at the semi-pro level, the National Elite Basketball
League. Yeah, we need to look forward to. Our players need to look forward to
something,
to playing.
You know, and they earn a decent they earn a decent earning by playing a game. You know, they are paid a salary.
So most of them or all of them are dedicated only to the game during
the
league?
Not all of them are necessarily dedicated, meaning that you could have a day job.
Yeah.
You could have a day job and still earn extra by playing basketball, practicing in the night. Because most of the practice takes place in the night. The imports are full-time. They're here. You have to put them up. You have to accommodate for them. Because they also help elevate the game.
Right.
Because they come with a level of exposure that most of our people don't have. So when you go against them, you kind of say, okay, well, this is where I have to elevate to, and it helps us. It certainly helps us. And especially within this region, we are in terms of basketball, we're a powerhouse. We don't have size in terms of height, but we have a lot of talent. So it's how we're able to hone that together.
Yeah, coming to that, is it from these players that we form a national team?
Some, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, many of them are part of the national team. If we have a couple players that are playing outside Belize City or those players that are maybe of Belizean heritage, the rules allow you to recruit them.
Okay.
So especially players with height, with size, that is where we really want to.
And I notice internationally they're getting taller and taller.
Well, that is so true. That is so true. But don't forget, this Saturday night, first and foremost, game 1, and then of course game 2 is next week, the 3rd of July. It's back. It's home in Orange Walk where the Rebels are going to be hosting the Defenders for game 2. So mark it down in your calendar, and if you're not there, I think you're not going to be anywhere.
Yeah.
So be there.
And it's a good 2 or 3 hours. Enjoyable time. You'll
have and it's pleasant. It's
good,
fun.
Clean fun.
It's fun.
You get to. What I like about games like this, Belizeans from all walks of life, you sit in mix and mingle with each other.
This is everybody. Everybody at this point in time. So even if you are supporting other teams during the course of the season, you kind of pick with your team now and you.
What are the ticket prices?
Well, it varies. I'm not quite sure what the Defenders are going to be charging, but generally for finals, most general prices are like about $20 for entry. That's your general entries, and then you have your VIP and your court side and so on. That vary up maybe a couple dollars more per different seats. But generally, the regular season is normally $10, and then when it gets into the playoff, it goes up to $15, and then the finals is $20. So try to keep it as economical as possible. But like you said, we do need the revenue to help offset some of the expense. Along with the sponsors, we can't forget the sponsors. Without the sponsors, we'd never be able to do this at all, because
you can't cover everything.
No, and if everybody know, we had some of the richest people involved in basketball, and they couldn't sustain it and stay in it because it's not really profitable, but it's more a labor of love. But at the end of the day, it is what we have as our highest level of entertainment in terms of sports here in Belize, and I think that we need to embrace it. If we all embrace it, eventually it can become how we see it internationally. Maybe not to NBA level, but certainly sustainable. But we have to go out and support.
It.
And in tandem, the National Sports Council and the government will have to do their part in terms of improving the facilities and so that people who are much more comfortable when they go out. And of course, the issue of crime has an impact on sports in Belize. So if we try to clean that up as well, then people will feel more comfortable coming out in the evenings.
Yeah.
All right?
And you need that fan base.
Yes.
21 minutes
indeed.
away from 7 o'clock. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Welcome back once again. Welcome back. 17 minutes away from 7 o'clock. And this is The Morning Show on Love FM, Love TV. Your hosts, Ernesto and Troy.
Yeah, Ernesto. Somebody just reminded me, the greatest of all is the fan support.
That's what I'm saying. You need
Coming to the game enhances the economy around the game. And it's a very important point now that viewer raised it. Because whenever a game occurs, a lot of people benefit. I mean, I could see in Orange Rock in particular, all the taco stands, all the hot dog people around, there are persons selling in the bars, there are persons selling garnaches and other things. And so there was a whole host. There's persons who have to, get outfits. They maybe go to their dresser, they buy their shirts. Now the fans are extremely so supportive. They actually
that's
have
the
their
base.
shirt.
That's the base you need to go.
Yeah,
The
there
base.
goes in. They have
the
the jerseys
individual
on,
districts.
Yeah,
They have
and
their fan base and so on.
So it's the taxes, parking,
Correct.
all of these things, economic activity.
It always helps. And the mood as well. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, just calling on a point of note, no? Last week, Friday, I guess, yeah, announcement was made at this media outlet on, on a certain party organizing themselves for a convention and the amount of candidates, and us the two at the convention, they want to press to be mayor undivided. And I tell myself, I declare my candidacy long before this I erupt this situation. And my name was not mentioned. Nothing on say, well, Ernesto Torres is also vying for the mayor, but as an independent candidate. But I tell myself, Torres, no worry about that. That has been the norm against you from ever since you enter into the political arena, because I am perhaps taken as a politician. I am not a politician. I'm a road traffic expert, all right? And I'm a venue that needs great and special attention, expertise attention. But I tell myself again, no worry, Torres, the youth going for your intelligence will prevail. Anyway, my friends, when you take care.
Well, you just did it. You just announced it. We facilitated that.
Because of public information, I offer myself as a public servant.
No, you see, Mr. Torres, we give you the opportunity right now to campaign. Go ahead and do it. And then you are still vexed to do it, man. How you go, so?
I don't do it. I am a road traffic expert, and the Belize City community, and it's generalistically speaking, the state of Belize, the traffic messed up. I started traffic from Yule and Cord days. I saw what is occurring today on our road space. I saw that like from the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
Over the one license.
You don't make your point, man.
Which I pressed for legislation that it be named Traffic Department with its own law enforcement agency and its own court. That is what I have done to Belize. And instead I carried a court and spent 3-4 days at court and then throw the court, the case away because one magistrate couldn't handle the amount of summonses, so they throw it and write it off. You see how much via ticket the council is collecting in creating employment and other legal obligations. You see what I have done for Belize City, and that's just one area. How if I start to run up?
All right. Good campaigning. We give you can't beg to do now, right? We give you a chance to.
Me good. Appreciate it. Love you.
So do that.
Go to the next station now. Go do the same.
We open the lines and we do it. All righty. But speaking of sports in general, I think this week they're having the Super Nationals.
Yes.
Where all the schools are.
Which is another good endeavor because
we need to promote. But you think generally Belizeans are sports-minded?
Yes, of course.
Not true?
Of course. And follow World Cup and NBA better than me and you.
Hello, Carlo. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, down blessing, Ernesto Troy.
Sup, John?
Down blessing.
Yes, bless.
With all the confusion that we're going in this country, some kind of holes, but I have to big up the Southern Regional Hospital, the staff and the doctor, then where it is.
Good.
And everybody, the support staff, and so them doing good work. I'm in there for a couple of days, and well taken care of. I don't know if I have VIP, but I can't complain, and I don't know I complain.
Yeah, you see how famous we make you?
Mm-hmm. That's
right. Man, the followers.
Yeah. No, when you go to the hospital, you get VIP, you see that?
The influencer.
One thing, Troy. One thing. But we want to go on the like.
Love is everywhere. Love is everywhere.
You know it, and when you choose love.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, good. Troy, we want to go on a serious note. This Saturday, some evangelists they come and they facilitate one evangelistic thing for the children. Because we want to get them to get, because if they don't learn it home, we and teach them out here. I believe in the community teach, not on the home, because the parents are busy too. But maybe we get off of that. What happens is that this group, they come and they will have children thing from around 10 o'clock to about midday thereafter. And then they will do a lot of the activities to the children, and they have between 5 and 15. Then they will give a school bag to Troy. School bag will give away.
Nice.
And Sunday, that's the big thing. Yeah, we want to come Sunday because we are giving again Sunday. Sunday after service, 10 o'clock service, we are giving pantry pantry thing. I don't think that like the one where the politician give it, but we give this one with love. So love is everywhere.
You think
love is everywhere.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is Sunday. We want people come out. The elder people they come out Sunday. Join we in a service, and then after service, we are give the party the food thing. And so everybody that Dangriga invited. These are the Christ AG Church branch, Dangriga.
All right.
And we situated in the River State area with a right half between Powell and Grigalicia, and no miss it.
No,
Because
miss
if
it.
you miss this, then something wrong with you.
Right.
Hey, Troy,
Tell me.
you have a blessed day, Troy, and you take your licking.
No.
You take your licking. Hey, so,
Yeah.
Troy, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Troy, all right. We have a
Pray,
good morning, Troy.
pray for me then.
Yes, all the time, brother, all the time.
All right,
All
good. Did it
Troy.
work?
Have a nice
Your prayers
morning.
are working hard, John. Take care. Have fun at
Yes,
the
man.
have
Yes,
fun
man. That's
Saturday
it,
and Sunday. All right,
Yeah.
take care.
Good,
Yeah.
thanks.
Good.
You mentioned World Cup, following the World Cup and so on. One of the favorites is Messi, you know that. You know?
Oh yeah.
Messi,
Yeah,
I understand he's
yeah.
already scored his 18 goals.
Yeah, he scored 2 yesterday.
Yes, 2 years
Against
today.
Austria in
Right.
that game, and then, of course,
Well, those of us
The
who,
next-
or those of you who follow Messi, and if you didn't know, his birthday is tomorrow. Yeah,
he's going to be 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
40 or 39?
39.
39. 39. He's going to be
39.
39. Yeah, 39 tomorrow.
and he has his record, but
Yeah,
everybody else will have
followed
their-
by Mbappe.
Mbappe.
Yeah. So
Mbappe.
Mbappe is from France. Is also one of those strikers that are very popular as well. So it's going. I mean, at the end of the day, some persons are saying it's probably the most exciting World Cup, especially you have a lot of these small
Small
underdog
little
countries that people are
holding
rooting
their
for.
own. I mean, they may not be
Yeah,
winning,
yeah,
but they're
yeah.
holding.
And they won't win.
No.
But they, you know,
They're
because
holding on
they-
to the big boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, Carlo. Good morning.
Good morning, Ernesto.
Good morning, sir.
Ernesto, I'm calling. The other day I called, but I couldn't finish explaining what I was saying about my village. But right now, Ernesto is not lying. I'm not lying. We don't have water here in the new area, Bully Tree. It's more than a week. It's more than a week, and I think this cannot continually happen.
Yeah.
Ernesto. We need, well, maybe I can pay for the system that, well, those guys that normally sell the water bottles, right? But how about those ones that cannot afford it? So this is one of the problems. I would like to call. I am calling because...
So there's no water in the houses? There's no water in the houses? There's no water for bathrooms? Bathrooms?
So those faucets are empty. I
Wow.
don't know, but there is a little problem that the village councillors or councillors need to make meeting and so forth, inform us what is happening, you know, so that we doesn't say, okay, well, they don't want supply because he is a UDP or he is whatsoever. But the real truth is that we need to find out. Let the chairman and the village councils have a meeting and inform the public or the people what is happening. So we need to find out. And this is not fair. people are saying now that they are not. I heard that they're saying that the people are not paying, but what happened is that we have water just 1 day, 2 days, and it's finished. The whole week we don't have water. So, Mr. Ernesto.
So Bullet Tree, sir, again, Bullet Tree has no water or almost no water at all.
Yes, in the Maya Heights area.
Oh.
Maybe in the other low line, then yes, because normally the water settled there, you know.
Okay, now reaching you guys up there.
Yeah, because what happened is that they connected I think it is a 3-inch pipe to the area, but it's hilly, and then water does not reach to the household.
Oh, at the top.
Yes, we do have pipe under the ground, but it doesn't have no water.
Yeah,
So,
you need a pump.
Sorry to say it again, but
And you don't have a water tank or anything up there that they fill?
Mr. Ernesto, we have the river. We have the Mopan River. The village is divided
Agreed, okay.
to the Mopan River. And I don't know what is this management is doing, because we need to find out. If there is anything that we can do, make another reservoir, then we have to. But let the villagers know, Mr. Ernesto.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I know that government is having a program for villages across the country for water, but I guess there's more demand than they have time and resources for. So it's slow going.
Yeah, well, you know, as expansion goes,
Yeah.
the infrastructure have to try to catch up.
To keep up, yeah.
We heard that cry many times, like in Belize City, where persons are cutting down swamps and they're just putting their houses there, and no street, no road, no light, no water. And then later on, the state is being asked to then provide that.
Right. And that's all
so-
over the country. That's
yeah.
another issue. We always had how Belize has grown. You know, you have spotted villages all over the place, far from civilization, basically. Then connecting them is...
Imagine if we were the
it's
size
hard.
of Barbados, we had our telephone lines and water pipes go rum and rum and rum and rum.
Or we had the population of El Salvador next door in Belize.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you concerned? It is in respect to the bus industry. They have the buses leaving the terminal every time, and whenever the bus leaves the terminal, it is completely full. And all the people, especially in the south, this is happening.
Okay.
All the people that is at the terminal waiting, they're on the roadside waiting and they're different the village, going to Belpan, no bus stop because they're already full. I don't know who are the person making this decision, but they make no sense, because if you live with a bus full, who is going to pick up the people in that's standing on the road to go to their destination?
Yeah.
They should have at least another bus that is empty to pick up the other people then that is on the road. That's my commentary right now, because it seems like the leaders then they're not the thing. So I just want them to open their mind, hopefully they get a message, because that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well,
So they need more buses?
yeah, well, I'm glad I hear about bus, because I'm alone, mirror, so
Yeah.
it's a little change right now. But the issue here is, because I didn't hear about bus for a long time, but what the caller is saying is certainly something to be concerned about, because I seen it happen this morning at Ladyville, where there's about 7 or 8 people standing at the bus stop.
At the bus
Under the
stop.
bus shed and waiting for the bus, and the
the
bus
bus
is in
pass.
front of me,
Oh.
and I see like they're kind of anticipating the bus will stop, and then I see the bus just
Gone.
pass them,
Wow.
and I kind of look through the thing, and you could see the bus seems to be very very full through the windows, no. So I've seen it happen just this morning, and it dawned on me as to that must be a very very frustrating feeling.
Of course.
And
Because
very depressing, because you're trying to get
You're being told
maybe
to
your job.
depend on that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes,
You need to
yes,
you
yes,
depend on that.
yes. So
if that lets
I
you
saw
down-
that this morning, so I'm glad the caller raised it. That's a matter that we have to deal with the logistics, because before there was a lot of standees, and people were choosing to break the rule to accommodate, because because before the bus used to left full, you know, but
Right.
they used to take the standees and so
Those
because the
7 would be
drivers used-
standing up in the bus,
Yeah,
but
we-
still get to their
yeah,
destination.
yeah. They wouldn't mind because they just want to reach, but no, because you don't have no standees and which shouldn't have been from the beginning. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating now logistically. You have to look and see where
You have to take
your
that
clients
surplus.
are and how you're going to be able to serve them, because that is a deficiency, and that you might now have to look at the rush hour period, and then you have to have that trailing bus to be able to pick up those. It might not be a very profitable venture, but because there is no other choice, you have to find a way to
You're
get
right.
these persons
You're right. Let's use that phrase. No other choice. That needs to be done, because those people need to be moved. If
Yeah.
it's one person in the bus, that
Yeah.
bus has to move and carry that person.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's the duty. That's the vision. That's the mission
Yes,
of the
yes,
transport
yes.
business.
So we must
In any
understand.
country.
Yeah, it's not that you must now suffer because it's not a viable run, and so I'm stuck here wherever and I can't get to my job or wherever because I depend. That's the vein that's carrying the workers to their
If you can depend on that,
destination.
what can you depend on?
Because that's what we're striving for. Because if you look back at everything I've said, that we should be at a position where, one, we could depend on the buses reaching on time, that we should be able to set our watch. We look at other jurisdictions and we marvel at how their public transportation works. That we could say, and if they tell you, go by the bus stop and 4
know, a
o'clock,
bus will pass at
a bus will pass at 4 o'clock. And you bet that bus pulls up just on or about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're not there with that level of anxiety that you can't reach your destination on time. But it's
A minute after
after
7.
yeah.
We'll take a break. We'll come back and continue with the show.
Introducing GrowWatt, a global leader in distributed energy solutions.
This is the morning show, and of course, our guest is in the studio in the person of Mr. Sajid Ali, who's the UNICEF acting rep here in Belize. And good morning, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
I am Ernesto. This is Troy, and well, we're looking forward to your visit. How long have you been in Belize?
I arrived in mid-February, so it has been
So you're
a bit
brand
over
new
4
here.
months. Yeah, if you call it still brand new, yes.
Yeah. Are we treating you good? Are we?
I
You're
mean,
not complaining to your family yet, or your family is with you?
you'll need to really yank me out of Belize. I'm not going anywhere. Loving it here.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
UNICEF, give us a little insight of what it is and what's its mission and all of that, so our viewers and listeners can get a sense of where we're going to be coming from.
Yeah, so UNICEF is one of the branches of the United Nations, and the mandate is protection of the rights of children. And it's one of the more, I would say, well-known brands of the UN. As a child, I think most of us know about UNICEF through our school days, and we work in 190 countries and territories. We're going to celebrate 80 years soon, so it's been a long
80.
journey, and we really our work with the governments, with communities, with other partners in every part of the world, whether it's on education, it's on nutrition, health, and I would say now even looking at the climate risks that children face, and child protection, one of the most important part of our work. Yeah.
Excellent. What are some, as you talk about these ventures and areas that UNICEF tries to cover, when you look at Belize on a whole, being here and maybe looking back at some of the historical records, what would you deem to be some of the greatest challenge or exposure that are affecting our children here in Belize?
So UNICEF has been working in Belize since 1954, but we set up operations in 1981. So it's been a long association over here. And it's not unique to Belize, but child rights are under attack everywhere in the world right now. So I would say in Belize, strengthening the education curriculum, I would say more legislation on having stronger protection of children, having more coverage in terms of health in every part of the country. And now with climate on risk on the rise and other, I would say, shocks that we have, whether it's with emergencies or with natural disasters, how do we ensure that schooling continues, children in school are safe and beat the heat, and they are in a place where they're comfortable, and the schools are a safe place for them to be in. But we also work on infrastructure in terms of water, health and sanitation, WASH, and we do hygiene and sanitation, and the connection with water and school is very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connection on children and health is very important. So it's like an integrated service that needs to be
But
provided for
how do
every
you
child.
ensure these things happen?
These things happen with the collaboration of governments, with the collaboration of communities, local partners, other UN entities, and also our donor community who helps us make some of our work happen and the projects being implemented. So we look more at system strengthening. We don't want to just be quick fixes and reactive. We want to get to the root of the issue and make sure that how do we stop children from suffering or children from not reaching their full potential in their lives. Yeah.
Our government has signed quite a few memorandums protecting children with UNICEF, and if you compare to what's happening to children around the world, Palestine, the Sudan, it's really, it wants to make you cry. These kids are going through hell. That makes your job difficult. So I guess being in Belize, we're doing okay.
Belize is doing okay.
You're doing okay.
You have in the country about 150,000 children and young people till the age of 18.
What do you consider children? 16 and under, or?
Till we will go, like, we also count adolescents, so we will say from 12 to 18, and then
Okay.
for children from the start till 12. And so we're talking about 150,000 out of a population of 420,000, so about like 36%. And it's one country where it's possible to reach every child with services that they deserve and they have a right to. So Belize is a country, it's a good example of how the UN and the government and communities can work together. Yes, you're right, there are much more tougher places in the world, whether it's for security reasons, whether it's the collaboration with governments, whether it's the lack of resources and funding.
Yeah, you could see like the Palestinian situation is certainly one
Children
where
are
kids
getting
are
killed.
under, they're being killed just by being in the line of fire.
Yes. So again, children are never at fault for anything that happens
To them, true,
but they are the biggest victims. They are not responsible, I would say, for creating security situations. They are not responsible for overuse of resources. They are not responsible for emitting gases or let's say in terms of the
like
climate,
you said,
but they
didn't
suffer.
ask to be here.
when you look at Belize and you're talking that you believe that where we stand in terms of our population size, that all most children or almost all should be able to have access to some of these benefits that you talk about. What it is that would be on the horizon for UNICEF to be able to kind of reach as much for various areas? Is there any milestone event that is coming up, or you have planned for doing that?
For us, at the end of the day, we would like to hand over, whether it's schools, whether it's water facilities, whether it's health facilities. We are there to provide technical expertise. We are there to implement or pass or help pass legislation. We want to hand over, and we don't. Our aim is not to continue being part of implementation from the word go till now. So we want to make sure that sustainable solutions are there, which can continue. And again, not a lot of places are left, but there are still places where we still need to maybe reach out, or with schools connected to water facilities. We're using solarization for that now.
Okay.
And a lot of villages, especially in Toledo, that we are working in. So there's always going to be some, I would say, part of the country which is less, I would say, connected, or the infrastructure less developed than others, but at least there should be a minimum level of services that children should receive throughout the country.
How involved is UNICEF, say, if the government sets out to, say, build a school or a school building? Do you have any involvement in ensuring the basic amenities that are child-friendly and all of that to be put in place, or it's just they're on their own and you don't have that relationship?
No, it really depends. Not in every school we will be involved, but we have a very good relationship with the Ministry of Education, with the Ministry of Rural Transformation. So whether it's the school building, or whether it's the curriculum, or whether it's facilities, training of teachers, or it's strengthening the school system itself. We'll
follow up to Troy's question. How do you do your job? Do you actually go out and look for problems, or you link with the government and say, okay, where do you need help? How does UNICEF work?
So it is a combination. The government has its own action plan. They invite us to be part of it. We have our own action plan, and there are always areas of collaboration that we can work together. We cannot work alone or in silos.
Obviously.
We do need. So I'll give you an example. If we do set up, let's say, a water facility in a village, the government will, the Ministry of Rural Transformation will be the ones to make sure the digging is done of the wells, and then the infrastructure, they help us with it. The biggest contribution comes from the government. We are there, and we can help. We can help in terms of getting some of the equipment, and installed, and also the expertise on how
Expertise,
do you
yeah. You
connect.
bring in a lot of
We do bring in a
expertise.
lot of expertise, and going forward, that is our aim, to strengthen expertise in the country, even with Belizean nationals, to have more stronger technical capacity in the country. Yeah.
When it comes to the children's health, let's say the issue with vaccines and things like that, you do promote or advocate for child vaccination. What happens if the government says, no, I don't think we're going to do the vaccination? What would you, how do you handle something like that?
It has happened in places, but mostly I think with the pandemic, it was a very good an eye opener for the whole world, where vaccination became mandatory in most countries, which even did not believe in them. Everybody started thinking I think the important part is the communication from our side on what this vaccination is for and what it's not for, because that's a controversy that can come in with different vaccination. There are some vaccinations which have no controversy, and it's very easy to, and there are others where it could be a misunderstanding on the purpose of the vaccine. So for us, we've seen in Belize that vaccination has mostly been a big program, but also it has not been big, I would say. We haven't faced any strong resistance in terms of vaccination.
Yeah.
And the government has been very well stocked with vaccines. You know,
The recent one was the sort of back and forth with this HPV
Yeah.
vaccine being given to young females in schools, and there was a more church sort of pushback. How you intertwine yourself in that kind of situation as UNICEF? How does your mandate allow you, or what your mandate allow you to do in situations like that?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I was at the launch of the national, I would say, health workers strategy, and we had Minister Bernard with me, and I mean, he was getting those questions. For us, we know very clearly what the vaccination is for. It's more for cervical cancer prevention, and that's the message we will be very clearly giving, and there is no hidden agenda or nothing else there that we need to communicate or clarify. So it's very clear for us. So we try to be very open about what the vaccine is for, what's its intention, and then of course it's the actual, I would say, application of the vaccination is done locally. So that's also the communication part that the government makes and clarifies. So yes, there will always be supporters and opposers to it, but I think if a dialogue takes place and there's understanding on what is the reason and what are the concerns, and that can be addressed, then we move forward.
But I suspect you only advise. You don't
Yes.
get involved.
No,
in
we don't get
decision-
involved. It's not our
decision
place
making
to
and
do
so on.
so.
You advise
Yeah.
coming from UNICEF.
Yeah. I see on the screen, in terms of some of the projects you might be undertaking, something called 501 Girls.
Yeah.
What is that? And I see your assistant or your bodyguard have on a shirt that speaks to that as well. So what is that?
No, it's an amazing initiative. Our Lead Like a 501 Girl, and it's bringing more females into tech, into information technology.
Okay.
And the event I went to, for me, that has been a highlight of my time in Belize, where we brought in students from all over, female students from all over the country, and they were there for and I would say a whole day, cracking codes, getting into systems and having activities and competitions, and that for me was great. I have a daughter, and I understand, and she gives me a very tough time, but technology is something that she loves, and I can see how it helps her being competitive in her studies and later on in the workplace. So that's something we really need to adopt, and it's globally seen that there are more men than women in this field, and even within UNICEF we have that issue in our workforce, and we had to put in special measures to get more women into the IT functional area.
And what was the reaction like in terms of the aptitude and the and the enthusiasm.
I was very impressed and actually very proud of what that event was and how we're going to take that forward. I mean, this is not a standalone event, and it will continue to happen because you can't reach everybody with one event. You need to widen the net and then maybe have more of them. It's something I have not seen in other countries, so I was quite impressed by this initiative with the Ministry of Education.
Where were you before you came to Belize?
Many places, last in New York, before that in Washington DC, in Switzerland, in Laos, in Vietnam, Thailand, Pakistan, so quite a few places.
Your passport is filled.
Passport is filled and renewed on a regular basis before it expires, yeah. But that's the rewarding part of the job, that you do get to work in different places and you do learn and you do get to share your own experience and expertise.
Right. Because I want to ask you, how does Belize fit into the Central American level when it comes to, well, child care, child labor, for instance, child health? I think we are doing pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah, Belize is doing pretty good, I would say. There are issues, and like every country does, but the scale of it may not be as much as some of the other South American countries. Of course, having a relatively smaller population also helps to address the issues in a timely way and having the resources to do that. There are certain issues and we are working on that. For us, I think child protection is one of the biggest ones. We recently carried out a survey for around 400 children and young people across the country, and what they felt safety was an issue with. Bullying was number one. 63% of the respondents said bullying was the biggest issue, and followed by substance abuse and drugs available in different places. Then talking about gang violence, crime, and also about sexual harassment and finally cyberbullying. So these are 5 areas that came out. So, and this is directly listening from the children in different parts. So yes, they are concerned, but this again, it's not an isolated issue in Belize. It is growing in many parts in South America, and the cyberbullying and the bullying is and harassment is there in every part of the world. Yeah.
And what level of priority do you see the government putting on child protection?
There are quite a few, I would say, legislation passed that helps. We're also strengthening parenting with the help of the government and the Ministry of Human Development. I think legislation is important, but implementation of it is more important.
Yes.
And implementation is the responsibility of local authorities and the government, which they are doing. What happens now is that because of media and social media, there is more focus and highlighting issues that come up, which is good, which makes action quicker than it probably used to be. More reporting, more I would say accountability is needed, and that it's even for UNICEF. We are also we come under scrutiny too. Like, where's the voice? When will you say something? We try to, we speak, but there's so much we can do in terms of action taken, but we do speak up and we do make sure that our role is very clear, that we are the voice of the rights of children globally as a UN entity, and we will continue to do that regardless of where we work. And yes, and sometimes there's backlash, other times there's support, and depends on the context. Yeah.
You have something called a U report?
Yes.
What is that?
So we, of course, it's listening to the voice of young people, and for us that's important. That's like
and then you
going to the
that,
source.
I mean,
Yeah, we publish that. We publish what we call these mix 7. It was new. It's more like it's like a multiple I would say indicators cluster survey, which gives you all the data for kids and children, because we want decision making to be based on data and not
Yeah.
on perceptions. And for us, that is important. It's one of our.
And that's how you
actually way forward.
influence the authorities to.
Yes, and they
create
do use
legislation and so
yeah
on for the
our
kids.
data and again we are seen as one of those I would say parties which are not influenced by anyone. So we come in with a clean slate to provide.
Are you a kind of insisting body? You know, if you see something needs to, your policies should be implemented for helping the child. How far do you go in pressuring a government to do what it's supposed to do?
I think
You do
pressuring
gently, I
is
guess.
not the right word. We communicate.
Soft
We
pressure.
communicate, we say like this is our mandate, we need to speak about it, these are issues that have been highlighted and we're sure the government is taking action. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it's not visible, but action is being taken. So I think that relationship with the government for us is critical. If we want legislation to be implemented, if we want steps to be taken to protect children, and we know that the intentions are always there to help, and it just sometimes may need more effort or time.
We know that the UN itself is getting a lot of pressure from different countries now. The United States withdrawing its funding and all that. How has that affected your?
It has affected
It has,
us. US was the biggest funder of the UN. It's still one of the biggest funders, and we have seen resumption in funding from the US, especially for humanitarian action in emergency countries. Yes, so they have started, and it's a good sign, and we're hoping this trend will continue. And yes, our donor base is also, we diversified a bit to move towards private sector and foundations and individual giving. So that has also helped the organization stay afloat in this very tough time. We did go through a big change last year, and we did reduce our workforce quite a bit. So 20%.
We have a lot of billionaires in the world now. They should be putting in their.
We can't take money from everyone. We have some very strict rules on what their money is used for, and if there's any conflict with our mandate. So
Like if
if
the
we
cartels wanted to give.
yeah, exactly. So there's due diligence. There are some red lines that we can't cross when it comes to who we take money from.
So there's our rules. When you look at the overall classification of our young people, as even as it relates to education, how significant your communication are in trying to see where we place our kids in terms of the education classification? And why I'm asking is you have a segment of our population who many persons believe are not going to be academic or focus on academia. How significant some of your efforts are to be able to try to guide those young people in different direction, maybe vocational studies and so on, because that seemed to be a deficiency that exists from my naked eye. I don't know what your survey says, but from the naked eye, we seem that we keep hearing not everybody is cut out for academia. So what the hell do we do with this other group of people then? That doesn't want to get educated via the academic components.
So when we did the survey, recent one that I was speaking about, 30% of the respondents were also working.
Okay.
And we're talking about persons till
young
the age of
people.
18, yeah. So you can see that is something which to survive now, young people have to do while studying, to also be, to work, of course, at a legal age of working. But we're also focusing a lot on skills building now. I mean, yes, you need to have your schooling. The basics need to be there. You need to be grounded. But skills building is getting more important than a degree would be in a few years. And college degrees will be irrelevant in our lifetime. We know that.
That's true.
And with technology, with what artificial intelligence is helping us with, and rather than seeing it as a threat, you see it as an opportunity, or those who know how to use it and utilize it will be more marketable in the workforce rather than those who will decide not to do that. So skills building for me is also when it comes to when you move into your professional career, the human-centric skills will be very important in addition to the technological skills that you have. That's leadership, management, whether it's, I would say, collaboration, networking, creative thinking. So those skills will be, they will be very critical when going forward in our work. And we are finding it even as employees of UNICEF on how we need to diversify our experience and skills, because maybe our experience is out there and it's available with the click of a button on the answers we knew about or solutions we knew about different problems. But how do we further go on and utilize this technology? And I think children need a safe space for that. Young people need a safe space. You don't have to go anywhere now. If you're connected online, you can learn a lot. And that's what we also promote. In some cases, virtual learning will be the solution, but our first preference is to keep the schools open and for children to be in school.
Excellent.
You know, UNICEF is here helping Belize with the children, but can the average Belizean give any kind of support to UNICEF, or I don't know, is there anything the average Belizean can do to support UNICEF?
I mean, everybody can help UNICEF. We have national committees in different countries who raise funds. They can go online and also donate to UNICEF. But I guess it's more about supporting the work we do. Also, it doesn't have to be monetary. It's speaking positively about the experiences. It's about providing more awareness to others about education, about health, about nutrition. So, so I think it's many ways that you can help UNICEF. As I said, you don't always have to give money to help UNICEF.
Yeah, I guess Belize is quite laid back and easy to work with. Not like the WHO and Ebola in Africa, and the traditions and cultures of the people resisting the work of an entity like the United Nations. But if you didn't know, I mean, UNICEF, like you said, has been here for many years and has helped Belize set up its policies and how to handle its children. I think recently we had the question of child labor came up. What's the definition of it? So we still have a little ways to go. Child marriages, for instance.
And one of the outcomes of our work, we used to have this child parliament.
Yes,
and one of the outcomes was the legislation on age of marriage. And so the positive things do happen when children are in the center of decision making, whether it's about children or whether it's the opinions of children. So we can't underestimate the power children have. And their voice has.
That's true.
Well, certainly we covered quite a bit. I think if viewers and listeners have a better idea of what UNICEF is doing and what the outlook is. So we certainly, any closing comments that they would like to leave us with?
I think we have all been children, and most of us have been our parents.
We go back to being children, we understand too.
So we understand how,
as a child,
as a child, how you wanted to be treated. And I think I say the same for a manager. Manage people the way you want to be managed.
That's true.
So just to keep that simple, I would say, approach in mind, that children are innocent, children deserve better than what they have in the world today.
Where is your office?
Our office in Belize City.
Belize
It's
City.
in Belize City.
Do you allow or accept walk-ins, for instance, if anybody wanted to come in?
We have no security restrictions
security
on
at all.
anyone coming to our office.
Because sometimes we think of these huge entities, that we can't talk to them directly or have any comments or suggestions.
I mean, we do have a communications person, and yes, we would like to channel everything through that person, but at the same time, yes, we don't have any such rules that nobody can come to us.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Ernesto, we certainly want to thank Mr. Sajid Ali for being so candid with us this morning and talking about what
who is the young
UNICEF
lady with
does.
Stephanie
And
Daniels,
Stephanie?
she's
Yes,
our communications officer.
She's the
Okay.
communication officer.
Yes, yes.
Ah,
She didn't want
Always loves
communicate
to
with
stay
us.
behind the
She didn't
camera.
want to communicate with us, huh?
Well, we certainly,
Very well known
yes,
in
yes.
the
We certainly
media
wanna-
circles. Yeah.
want to thank you and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. And
Yes,
you
excellent
again.
try.
it certainly has its value in moving this country forward.
Sure does. 25 minutes away from 8 o'clock. We'll take a break. We'll be back, and Troy and I will be available. You can join us, and we can talk about what we just did or anything else that comes to mind within reason, of course. We'll be right back.
Relatively moist and unstable conditions continue over our area and will support somewhat showery weather today. The 24-hour forecast is for skies to become cloudy at times today and tonight. A few showers and thunderstorms will affect most areas this morning, with a decrease this afternoon. Then tonight, a few showers and thunderstorms are expected over the Toledo district, with isolated showers elsewhere. Winds over the open sea will be from the east at 10 to 20 knots, and seas will be moderate. Near heavy showers and thunderstorms, however, winds will become gusty and seas locally rough. Therefore, operators of small crafts should exercise caution. High temperatures today will be around 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 92 inland, but only 80 degrees up in the mountains. The outlook is for partly cloudy skies with generally isolated showers or thunderstorms on Wednesday, with a few more likely over southern districts Wednesday night. There is a low tide at 12:03 this afternoon, and a high follows at 5:59 this evening. Another low is at 11:12 tonight, and another high at 5:30 tomorrow morning. The sun rose at 5:19 this morning and will set at 6:30 this evening. The moon comes up at 1:25 this afternoon and goes down at 1:08 tonight. In the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected in our area of interest during the next 48 hours. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the morning show. And it is, of course, your time. 203-2098 is our telephone number.
Your time. It's their time.
203-2281, 203-0528. And, we're open.
You know, the elephant in the room is the whole Mira situation.
Yeah.
Who has gone on a leave of absence, while at least for the next 90 days or next 3 months or thereabouts, while they proceed to do the audit investigation as it relates to whether or not the procurement process was followed, and more than likely whether we got value for money, which is where most of my crooks would be as an individual, because that's where I believe then would be the citing of corruption. Granted, nepotism is there. Once your relative and you they run things and you go. So we don't have to argue about nepotism. That is already established.
That's right.
You know, that happens.
Hello, Carl. Good morning. You're on there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the bus thing this morning.
Mm-hmm.
That same kind of conversation has been going on more than 25 years, repeating the same thing over and over, and there is no difference. Nobody is smart enough to find a solution. You have to understand that Belize is unique when it comes to bus traveling. Belize is very unique. First of all, it's laid out far apart, and the towns are distant from the others, and the villages are between. As a matter of fact, it is doing the same thing like what the boat used to do, traveling up the river and pick up people as you go along from the bankside. And there is no way you will get the bus doing anything different from that. Some things are unique to Belize, and we have to keep it. Standees will have to be on the bus, but they must limit it, that you can only pick up people from that direction and so on, or when you get so many miles from the city or whatever it is. But that will be there forever and forever plaguing people. But overcrowding the bus and overpacking the bus is really out of hand. At least make a law that you cannot have more than 5 standees or more than 10 standees coming into the city. Things like that will work. We have to make laws and do things to suit. We cannot change ourselves to suit, because we are unique in many, many ways. As I have said, people need to come on the ground and understand what is happening. Otherwise, we'll never make a change. This cannot be America. This cannot be Mexico. Let's be Belize and fit our bus services to suit Belize. Everything will not change to suit what you want. But we must apply ourselves to make it fit and work. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you know, as the caller pointed out, is that you have to find a solution, because it's been going on for a long time, and persons have suffered through it over all those years when we supposedly been talking about it. And so I've always maintained that because of that uniqueness, that it is not a private sector business. It is a state business. The state has to be involved, and that's why I'm a strong supporter of consolidation. And there's nobody that would be able to convince me otherwise. I think I know enough of this industry to understand from a business standpoint that there's no viability to the level that it makes it in order for us to be able to improve. The state has to be involved, and because the state has a responsibility to be able to move workers and move people from point A to point B, because that's the only way that you can progress. This ad hoc way, where we end up with 31 persons with old buses, almost 40 years old, and they're struggling to survive, and they can't keep up. But we kind of grind our teeth bite our tongues and continue to accept it because we believe that's the best we can do under the circumstances. And I'm saying, no, we can do better. But we have to structure ourselves properly and we'll be prepared to bell the cat. And we have to understand that at this point in time, that not everybody can be able to run old buses up and down this road. We have to move on. And we have not been able to decide that we need to let go.
Is that the objective of the National Bus Company?
No, it's not. The state has not decided that they are going to be totally on board, involved, foot, hand,
they're hoping,
head, everything. It's
you're
not
saying
going to fix
that
itself.
right. Well, you're saying that it will eventually maintain itself.
It will
that's
not.
not a possibility.
That's not a possibility.
No, I agree with that. Subsistence, I keep saying that.
Yeah.
It's in most
Every
parts of the
metro
world,
has to have state involvement.
That's right. It has to be subsidized.
We talked just now about a struggling bus to pick up persons because if it is, we are saying
I just got pictures of this morning where the same thing is happening. The buses.
Yeah, it's an old
people are
photograph.
waiting. Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah, it's probably a couple of days old. Where buses will break down. We understand that.
Yeah.
Even new buses will have issues, but it can't be so consistent, can't be so often. And then you have to have mechanism in place to be able to replace quickly so people don't punish for an extended period of time, stranded in the middle of nowhere. So you have the level of communication because for the most part we understand that we are sparsely populated. And that is one of our deficiencies.
We have to cover distances and we don't have the population to pay for the
Exactly,
to pay for that distance.
exactly. So if you're saying I can't put people to stand because we don't think it's safe in the event that there's some issue or accident, those persons are going to be fully exposed, they can be badly hurt. So fine, no standees. So you have to have a struggling bus. That bus might only run and pick up 5-6 people. It might lose $300-400 on that trip. But the state will have to be able to bite that bullet because the service is provided.
That's right. Or
and make it up on the other end. It might still be able to break even,
but that's
not ultra profitable.
That's right. That's the caller's point is this is how we do it in Belize and we can't.
And I know by that.
Business.
I know by that. That's a cop out.
Yes,
we are saying we can't improve because we so backward and we so relegated to backwardness.
If you go to other countries, bigger countries than us that have transportation systems piling up 100 people in a 20-seater bus, and all that, I think that's what he's saying. If we need to do that, we do that.
But it's backward.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
That doesn't happen in first world countries.
Good morning, sir.
Our buses can even go to Chetumal, going to Mexico, so that show you that we are behind. When we go on charter trips, we only could reach at the border. The Mexican bus come, pick up our passengers and carry it. And we cannot do nothing about it. They don't want our buses because we do not meet the standards. So we are far behind when it comes to buses. We used to go, but they ban us from going because we don't meet the standard of buses. So we only could go far as the border, drop off our passengers. They come and pick it up with their fancy buses, and then they go. Then when they bring them back to the border, we pick them up and bring them back to Belize. So that show you everything. We are far behind when it comes to transportation.
That's my point. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So Troy, we have a dilemma. We want to behave first world, but we don't have first world resources. So we have to find a middle point. And I think that's that Carla is trying to say, all right, you have to allow some standees at some point.
Well, then you have to be able to say, you know what? Under the circumstances, this is going to be our policy and our position. And so we're going to accept a level of mediocrity because in first world countries, you might not find that, but person will argue and say, well, you know what? When you travel on the train to New York, they allow people to stand up and they allow you, they make sure they have the way where you could support yourself on all of that in the event that there's some sort of surge or jerk or something like that. Because you could be badly hurt if you're unprotected and you're standing.
There was a train crash in the UK just this week.
And people died. And so I'm saying here is it's a safety feature. But if it is that we are going to make some adjustment to accommodate, but I am saying you don't have to. You don't have to. It's because we have not yet decided that
which way we want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hello, Carol. Good morning. This is Love. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
May I say something to Mr.
Ernesto.
Ernesto, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead. You go ahead. Talk.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hear you all talking about the bus. My opinion about the bus is that they don't want Belizeans to improve. They don't want Belizeans to improve because instead of discussing the bus thing and help those who had bus, they just bring in the new bus and squash them out of their job. This is how I see it with the bus situation. They should have get with these bus drivers and see how the government could help them to improve themselves. Just don't push them out of the service. That's how I see it.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, caller.
Thank you, and you have a good day, okay?
Somebody says here, we need to do better. Mexico not tolerate foolishness. We have the resources. It's how to use it is another matter.
We have the resources.
So that's not me. But the point is,
there is
the
no
point
way
is,
you can run a bus company and people pay $9, $10, $15.
yeah,
to ride on a
but that is why I said it has to be a subsidized service.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So we could structure it in any way, shape, or form you want, where the state goes out and they source the funding to get the level of equipment. You don't have to get brand new equipment, but you have to get fresh equipment, updated equipment.
Has a few miles left.
The updated equipment, set up your maintenance structure and all of that in place, and so you have that mechanism. Then the economies of scales are going to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you set up in your management structure using some of the technology, because you would have equipment adequate enough to accommodate the technology. But you have to be able to set that policy in a clear format and prepared to bite the bullet going forward, because you're going to have pushback from time to time. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have callers like the caller just now, where say, just give them people, they're in the private sector, but just go and give them the thing, man, and let them run it, and so the state just give them help, them, and you call it help. But at the end of the day, if you got in business, you must be able to find your own way.
That's right.
It's not for the state to help you, but if the state is seeing that as a private sector entity you can't survive under the structure and the circumstance, then the state have to come in and say, you know what?
And do some kind of regulation.
I have to keep the prices down because my people can't afford more. And so I have to take on that responsibility using taxpayers' fund, whether we get grants or we get soft loans or whatever it is, but I have to get in and muddy my hands.
It's true what the caller said. We've been talking about this for a long time. And the subject and the area we've also talked about is, what does it cost, the real cost of a bus traveling, say, from Corozal to Belize City, to fill the bus, and what would need to be paid? And those numbers have come up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what the people are paying today. Mm-mm. If you want to run a good bus, dependable bus, to get into that bus and drive and ride it, I think you'd have to pay almost
you start
100%
you
more.
could start from your acquisition costs,
Mm-hmm.
then all your various permits, your license, your insurance. Then you have to make sure that all your equipment are in place.
But I would think that
the cost can be tracked
NBC
easily.
has done this, and they are seeing that but they're putting
the
together.
NBC is not the answer. The NBC, the way how they are structured is not that.
If you consolidate and everybody uses one source,
but they don't have the
for
cash flow to
maintenance.
debt service and move their equipment to the next level. That is a farce.
an investment.
Yes, so that's why I'm saying the state will have to come in at some point in time, because even from their cash flow, they will only be able to piecemeal the situation.
And just maintain what they have now.
Maintain what you have, and maybe you'll add 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but you'll never be able to get to the level where it is that we can say we have one of the most reliable public transportation that an individual who drive a vehicle feel that I would be more better off taking that public transportation than driving my car in my comfort, because I think I'm going to get equal as much comfort and I'm going to get better value for money by taking the public transportation. That's where we need to reach, where me and you will feel comfortable going to a terminal.
I ride a bus that is comfortable and has, and I can depend on it to take me from point A to point B anytime.
Yeah. Where I know standee with people fall sent over my head and messing me up. I get maybe air condition.
My baggage
is safe, and I maybe could get access. And I could be able to do 1 hour work if I'm going from here to Belmopan. That's an hour work I could do in a Wi-Fi environment. Imagine that. You know, so when you get on a plane or somewhere, what they try to do to make you as comfortable as you possibly can. So that's where we need to grow to, right? And you could probably do it at the same rate. You could still do it at the same rate because the state is going to be subsidizing it.
In a sense, but we are talking about two markets. We have the people who come to work every day, and they are paying up to 30 or 40% of their income on transport. When you put you and I in that scenario, it's a different market. If I had a fairly good bus, comfortable, air conditioned, to take me, say, across the border on a regular basis, dependable, I would prefer to do that and drive my car.
Okay.
You know, and I know a lot of
people.
But we don't have that.
We don't even have that as a executive elevated level.
Exactly. So, and then let's make it locally. If I want to, I have family in Orange Walk, and they say, come on over, you know, on a Sunday or a Saturday, and I know I can catch a bus that's, again, comfortable, will get me there in an hour's time. I won't pay $20, $25 to ride that bus instead of fill up my tank and drive it, right? But that's a different market. You see, because the person who uses it on a daily basis coming to work doesn't want to pay that.
But I'm saying that person deserves that same experience as well. And I'm saying that it can be had.
Yeah, but it has to be subsidized, that level.
We are subsidizing it right now.
Yeah.
But we're doing it in such an ad hoc way that you're not getting the benefit of the economies of scale. Right now, the government is giving subsidy and all of these things.
Trying to put this together and make it
more
formalized.
That is why the consolidation, but the state has not yet committed, because they're trying to treat NBC as though it is a competitor to the BBA. And I'm saying, no, it is to take rid of the BBA. They don't need to be able to exist anymore, because at the end of the day, I'm saying that they will never be able to elevate the service. It doesn't matter how much subsidy you give them, because they're not built for that. They're not set up for that. They're just small hustle every single day in terms of cash flow. And most persons don't like to hear this, because they think that you're being too hostile and too callous.
That bus is their business.
But business is
like
business.
A taxi.
Yes, business is business. And I am talking from a sheer business standpoint. The state has to be involved in this business in order for it to make the rest of the economy work. If the workers can't reach for Orange Walk that are doing construction in certain areas in Belize City, that building can't progress. Then interest will start to run at that borrower when it have cost overruns or time overruns.
Why the water taxes seems to be working? Why?
Because...
And it costs. I mean, you're paying the full price to ride that.
But what the water taxes has been able to do, when I look at their business model, is to be able to structure themselves in a very formal way, where the money not go in and nobody pack it, and so this is done by ticket. So you literally, they're using a level of technology and organization, which when you have 31 bus operators, you can't organize them. We only have two ferries. Two. Right? So you're able to organize that in a because the entry level is very prohibitive in terms of getting into that business, because a boat is very expensive. And so because now you only have two, I, who are running my business, set it up my way.
Right.
And organize it so it looks like as though it's very organized. You get your
Of
seat,
course,
you get on, and you
we-
don't
we're
have this
drawing a
level of
comparison.
pilfering and all of these
You
things.
might see it's a little unfair because
You say you
but
can't stop and pick up
No.
people mid-sea and that kind of thing when it happens on the road, and that's where the pilfering occurs. Because we have a lot of
Which the
ad hoc
question I
structure.
have is why the first thing, if you're going to formalize this, the first thing you should establish is a ticketing system. The first thing you need to do. It's a minute after 8, and we'll come back right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And we are talking here about, well, the subject at the moment is as usual, the transportation system. Would I be fair in saying, let's give the NBC a chance? I mean, they've been officially formed as of March, right? March.
March 1.
What would you? We in fact we don't need to be hearing the same complaints after a while.
Well, I think
Something has
it's
to-
subsided a bit. It sounds like
Yeah.
to me it subsided a bit because I remember I even made the point earlier that I've heard about bus issues for a very long time, at least a couple of weeks.
But that is seasonal. You know. The busting is seasonal. We go through it. We don't hear about it for a while.
But
hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good evening.
You're on the air. This is Love.
Yeah, listen to the phone.
Yes, morning. You know, all of our ideas are good. All of our suggestions are good. All of our opinions are good. But will they work perfectly? If we put them together,
That's the enemy of the good.
turn off the
Yeah,
Lord.
it's affecting
Yes,
you.
yes. Yes, and good morning. All of our ideas are good. All of our suggestions are good. All of our opinions are good. But will they work? If you put all of them together, maybe it might work. But up to now, most things are not working. And we know that. You know, in the States, Air Force One, when it goes out, it's two planes. It's two planes. When the presidents travel, two planes, one in the front or one in the back or whatever it is. It will never happen in Belize that when a bus takes off, another one is following it behind empty. That is not real. Yes, you want that. It's not. It will not work. That will never work. Now, if you are saying two buses will take off same time, that makes much more sense. Two buses take off, both of them are full, that makes more sense. And they pick up as they go along. That might work. But for a bus to be trailing behind the other bus with one passenger, that will not work. And we have to come up with ideas that might work and improve on it as we see things going on. We just can't sit here and say something and think it will happen. No, it will not happen that way. And it becomes a problem. There has to be solutions. And the solution is that people have to sit together, put heads together, and find the best way out. Just keep it in mind that we are unique. The towns are situated far from each other. The villages are in the middle, and those are the people who are trying to get wherever, and they have to be picked up. So there has to be a solution somewhere. We need to put heads together. We just cannot just be talking and talking. That doesn't work. It wants something to happen on the ground. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the NBC is an effort to improve.
It's an action.
It's an action
Yeah,
plan.
action
Let's
position.
do at least.
Government accepts. I'm sure they already realize that government subsidy is a necessity for the public transportation. They tried the private sector thing to finance it, and so with the novellas, and so it didn't work because they undermined it themselves.
Yeah.
But so you now have to be in a standalone setting, and at some point in time, it's one entity that will be able to generate all the revenues. And government has to make sure that it gets all the taxes, whether it's excise on the fuel, whatever, and all of these monies has to be able to be coming in so that it has the ability to debt service
subsidize.
whatever equipment, supplies, capital expenditure that it has to do, because it will have to take on the capital expenditure. Building terminals, improving terminals. Right now, government had contemplated, we heard it here several times from the minister, to move the terminal to a whole new area where we could, especially Belize in terms of it being a hub.
And that's going to be taxpayers' money investment.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be built by
it's
Mr.
not.
Ashcroft or anybody.
No.
That
Manna
has to
from
be
heaven
state
is
money.
going to come.
That's right.
So that has to be done through a process. But it can be done through a PPP structure. It can be done through bond offering. But whatever it is, it can be done if it is that you decide that this is the direction you want to go, and then as a policy, you make that decision, and then we start to put the financial hand and foot structure to that policy. How are we going to achieve it? But we first have to say, you know what? Government is going to make a ruling that at end of 2027, we're moving to one single public transportation entity, and this is what we want. 6 districts, 6 terminals, a sort of small office in Ladyville, Independence, wherever, pick some of these areas where there are also active hubs so persons know, you know what,
right.
this is my point of contact, of either disembarkation or embarkation. So we start to put structure in place, but we have to be able to tighten, because we can't talk consistently, as the caller rightly point out, where we want to go, but the action plan are not aggressive enough in order for us to get there.
Because, and I think I agree with you, the main impediment here is somebody will have to put
political will.
Money into it.
Political will,
and
you can find the money. Monies are there for you to get, whether you want to source it.
They will have to structure, you know how there's the structuring the NHI? They'll have to do something similar with transportation. We have an entity that handles that. I mean, in the big city of New York, who handles the subway? It's a city decision.
It is a state that handles the metro.
Who decide exactly how this is going to work. Because they can't give it to private. That's not going to happen. The state has to do it.
Because the first thing the private sector goes in there, it goes in there for profit. And what does it want to do? They want to raise the prices. They want to reduce the services. They want to cut costs, because that's what private sector does. And I don't fault any private sector person for doing it. For doing that. That's why the state has to come in and say, listen. This is a public utility. This is a public utility, and without this, the rest of this country will not move. The economy is going to stagnate. So I will not allow that.
It's no different from BL or BTL.
That's what I said. I call it a public utility.
Hello, Carl. Good morning. You're on the air. This is Love.
Yeah, pleasant good morning, Mr. Ernesto. And,
hi, Minister.
Hey, morning, Minister.
Minister, listen to you, boy.
You know that I always really appreciate the time given to discussing this important matter. And we certainly always appreciate any new ideas on how we can get to our objective in a manner that's even more efficient than what we have planned. But every time I listen in, I think it's an opportunity, and I'm grateful for it.
Please.
On behalf of the ministry and the government, to just maybe mention a few things we've said before that probably has not fully sunk in yet, no? If you'll allow me, I'd like to share.
You go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, you're on the air.
Sure, Doc.
Number one, there is a very robust plan that is being implemented as we speak. All right, so let me use an analogy, if I may. We are used to the public utilities as we have them already, BWSL and BEL, that were established decades ago. So we don't normally call them PPPs, but that's what they are. They have investment from the public sector, and they have investment from the private sector. Now, if the government had owned those companies 100%, then they would really be a fully owned public entity and could even be a department, let's say of the Ministry of Public Utility, could have a department of electricity, for example, and own directly all the generators and so forth in the BL system. That would be on one end of the spectrum, if you will, where it's a full monopoly that is owned 100% by the government. On the other end of that spectrum, you could have an economic setup where you have many suppliers of electricity, many generators. In each district, you have different companies providing it privately. So that would be a decentralized structure where you have many people, and they are all allowed to put up their electricity lines and so on. Well, there's a reason why that is not done, because it would be very inefficient to do something like that. So what we have is if you will, a hybrid that is closer on the first end of the spectrum that I mentioned, that has private investment in it as well. Well, public transportation, if you hear it, it includes the word public because it is being used by many, many people across the country. So in that regard, it has that characteristic of a public utility. Now, in different countries, you have different models depending on how their economy works and their level of efficiency, where in some settings it is done completely by the private sector with regulations from the government, or even in other developed countries, you have that the government owns the public utilities, the public transport system, and then maybe leases out its equipment and so on to operators. So you have different models. What we have decided to do here as a policy is to have a public-private partnership in which one of the benefits of that structure is that you don't burden the government with all the investment, right? So in this case, for example, you've heard that we are in the interim as we transition to 100% electric buses by the end of next year. We recognize and we knew that we were getting a lot of older equipment, a lot of older buses.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had to upgrade to, as we'd call, quote-unquote, newer old bus. If you want to put it in a Creole, right? So newer old bus. But still nicer that are in the range of, let's say, 2008 to 2015, much less miles on them, less likely to break down, air conditioned, bucket seats, and all that, right? In fact, I just passed one on the highway as we go, MCI bus, that one of 4 that we now have introduced to the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And we plan to do 15 of those buses. Now, the monies to buy those buses is not from the government coffers. It comes from the cash flow generated from the company to pay financial arrangements at a bank.
Okay.
So that is done because now you have a PPP structure that does that, right? Mm-hmm. And so it is not burdening the public taxpayers, but instead it is coming from the cash flow of the commuters who are paying their fares every day. The plan going forward is very clear. We have terminals that came into the company by way of the fact that after the Novello situation in 2004, those terminals that used to be private terminals are now government-owned. So you have Dangriga, Belmopan, Belize City, Corozal, all of those, plus one was built in Independence. Those are terminals that are now under NBC that's government's contribution to the formation of NBC. Now we have places that still need terminals. Punta Gorda, San Ignacio, Benque, and Orange Walk. And as you just said, Brother Troy, there are different models in which those terminals can be built. The one in Belize City, we already got the land, and we want to thank DPM, Cordell Hyde, for helping us with that. Right at the what people know as the Chatamal Boulevard, but that's the Lake Independence Boulevard portion south of the bridge, where we have about 7 acres of land, and that is where we will be putting a state-of-the-art terminal. Belize City is where all the buses come in. All of that is already planned out, and by the time we get to the end of next year, it will all be coming to the fore, where the country will be able to see it unfold in front of us, but it takes time. And it will take time because it's a public-private partnership. It is not like what we had passed recently in the House where, $73 million or whatever the full amount was invested in BL. That's the government taxpayers now will have to come up with that, right? This is being generated from the very public-private partnership company, NBC, so it doesn't burden the taxpayers. and therefore it would take a little longer for us to achieve our objectives. But we could have gone to the House and said, give me $100 million, please, so we could do all of this in 6 months. That's not the approach that we thought was going to be prudent, and it's an approach that we hope the Belizean people will be able to appreciate, and we can all be very proud of the end product. But it's going to take another 2 years for all of that to
So
come
we're looking
together.
at 2 years.
So I thought I'd share that with you all, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have right now.
Sure. So the government will be investing, even if it's only in infrastructure. So taxpayers'
yes,
money
and that is
will
what
have to
gives
be
it-
invested into the system, into the transportation
PPP.
business through
Yes, by way of
infrastructure.
terminals, yes, sir.
Okay, but you're confident that the earnings of the present bus company will be enough to make us see changes within a couple of years.
Well, it's premised on a few things. Any business enterprise is premised on certain things occurring. Number one, that we transition to electric buses. The energy cost of an electric bus, as we have shown from the pilot, and we're grateful to UNDP managing the funds that came from EU for those electric buses, showed that the energy cost of an electric bus is only about 22% of a diesel bus, right? And that's a significant reduction in the operating costs of buses once we transition to that. So that will reduce our costs. That would save us, just from the NBC fleet at this time, about $12 million in diesel per year. It will be about 800,000 gallons of diesel that we will not need to use when we have a full electric fleet. Now, I will share with you that a number of other operators have knocked at the door to join the NBC, and we welcome them out. The doors have always been open. So we now have 3 other operators that will take us to about 20 total operators and about 70% of the market. So once that transition occurs to electric buses, it reduces the cost. Secondly, once we have reliable, comfortable, safe transportation, we move away from all the racing and the dangerous situation we've had all these years. Then we expect ridership to go up. People will have more confidence that the bus will actually leave at 7 o'clock and will get you there at 8:15, for example. And more people will ride the buses, less need for people to go in their private vehicles, and that again will reduce the need for importation of fuel, because more people will use the public transport
Well,
system.
that's what Troy and I are looking forward to.
Yeah.
So we don't have to use our own vehicles. Minister, how many buses are on the road right now? That's including yourselves, the NBC, and the private and the Belize bus owners. How many buses are running?
It's around 100. It's around 160 buses overall.
And is that an adequate number,
and this is
or you?
intercity buses, I mean, between towns and
Yes.
and cities,
We're not
right?
talking about the city. I'm just talking about that are moving these thousands of commuters on a daily basis.
Yeah.
160 buses.
About between 10 and 12,000 passengers per day that we're talking about that are being moved.
Is
by
that
our-
an adequate number of buses, or we need more buses on the road?
No, it's actually, in some cases, it's an excess number of buses. You see, what the model that we had before was very decentralized. And that is the heart of the problem that created all of these things, because there were lots of road service permits just being given out, right, to favorites or whatever. And we moved from just 2 operators in 2004, the Novello Group and James. So just last year, 31 operators, and it's the same market. So you have all of these guys bringing out their buses, racing with each other, and in fact, it's too many buses. So it's now rationalizing where you're going to place
You're
the
cutting
buses
that
so
out.
that
You're cutting
they're
that out
there to
slowly.
serve the customers.
You're cutting that out slowly.
Minister,
Right. So from the south, for example, you will soon hear that we will be using the very big investment we've made in the coastal road Imagine we were moving people through Belmopan all the way around, when about half of those people want to get to Belize City, and we're not using the coastal road. So in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the NBC will be sensitizing commuters about improvements in the schedule coming through the coastal road. Again, that will help to reduce costs and improve service.
Okay.
Yes.
And you eventually should, you know, the big complaint about standees and collecting informal payments and so on, that should also stop.
That's correct. That's correct. You see, because what happened with the racing, and I'll tell you a little anecdote about what we've learned from some of the operators. Some of the smaller operators have had to be competing with the bigger ones. And when we dug deeper to find out why it is they want to have longer road service permits so that they could go to a bank to get a newer bus, it's because they told us that the newer bus can do better at racing with the competitor. You see, it is about how many people you can pick up along the way. And if your bus is in a better shape and can go faster, then you can pick up more people. That is why you see the buses stopping and racing, and then one driver come out and try fight with the next driver and all these things. It's because you have a limited market, and we're putting so many people out there to compete. It's like if you have a street corner,
setting you up to fail.
One person can do the leap another shop or whatever. One, right? And you might handle 2.
Next time, you know, you have 10.
You're going to put 30 of them there, right? What will happen? It will be chaotic, right? So that is, in a sense, what has caught us, and we have not been able to address it properly. And it's the consolidation, similar to what was done back in the Novello time. They had the same idea, that to reduce the competition so that the companies can become more profitable. But what did not happen then is the supporting legislation. And again, that is something you will be hearing about very soon. Possibly in the next House meeting, legislation will be brought to bring greater order to the sector.
And would I be right in saying then that you'll not be giving any permits here and there or freely anymore?
Yes, yeah, we had a moratorium on permits, only in case, well, remember the Transport Board is the one that reviews applications for permits. They have a very good understanding of the policy of government, and they would give out permits only in cases in which it does not compound the problem. And they're also revising operators who have permits that are not being used. So another thing that I could say here right now for the public's knowledge is that a company might only be using half of the permits that they're paying for, but they pay for a permit so that the competitor does not get that permit and compete against them. Imagine the absurdity of this how far the system
has been corrupted,
deteriorated, right? They have permits, they pay for it, but just so that somebody else don't get that time to compete with them. But they're not using it. And so these are some of the things now that will automatically go away if it's consolidated. Now we're talking to operators now, and they have a smile on their face now that they're members of NBC. One of them going to farming in the south, and the man is smiling. The last time I saw, he got paint by pants because he did paint the farmhouse. Quite relaxed, right? But before, what were they doing? They were having this
managing boss every day.
Animosity to each other, and now they are cooperating, and things are working better. But that will take some time, and it's working itself out day by day, week by week.
My last question, because we're just about out of time for a break. From a financial standpoint, we talk about those capital investment, the electric buses, the terminal constructions and refurbishment, and so. From an analysis standpoint, will there be enough cash flow available to debt service those capital investment, or we're going to require some sort of subsidy component from the state at some point in time? What do you feel?
Well, right. So excellent point. So the models that have been used, if you go and research across the world, European countries, African countries, Asian countries, South American countries that are transitioning, because the electric bus is maybe 2 to 3 times more expensive than a new diesel bus. But the long-term benefits are clear and abundant. Governments have either come in directly to subsidize the operators themselves. For example, in Taiwan, if a Taiwanese operator buys a Taiwanese bus, they will get a direct government subsidy in the range of 25-35% reduction in the cost of the bus that's paid directly to the manufacturer of that bus, the Taiwanese manufacturer, so that the operator pays a price that is more, would be more equivalent to what they would have paid if they bought a brand new diesel bus.
Okay.
And that helps them with their sustainability going forward. In other places, other entities would give grants to blend with loans so that the operators can get a lower cost of doing business. Because still the transition over to an electric bus is difficult because you're talking about the high cost of the batteries on the bus.
Right.
That is the big expensive component.
Yep.
But it is also the reason why the operating cost is so low, right? Electric bus has only about 25% of the parts of a diesel bus. You're talking 5,000 parts on average compared to about 20,000 parts. So right away, you don't have to worry about filters, about fan belts, about all these things that a diesel bus uses, and that dramatically reduces your cost. Now, we haven't even touched the other part that has to do with the revenue using electronic payment systems. Why it is that we have so much pilferage over the years is because we rely on conductors handling the money. And when they have a lot of standees, it's much easier for some of that money to not make it back to the main office. And so with electronic payment systems, which are now very well developed, and which is a part of the plan that will come as we go to the electric buses, that will also help on the revenue side. So already we're seeing, due to better management, an improvement on the revenue side and a reduction in the cost, just with diesel buses, and we expect that will be quite magnified when we start use the electric buses.
Minister, most of us are not as versed in economics as Troy. His question was on point, and the way I want to ask it is this. You said we have a timeline of 2 years. Do you see the income generated right now by the present company will be able to finance all these, like putting in an electronic system for ticketing system and moving on to sort of pre-owned diesel buses until we can move on to the electric buses? Is the present earnings of the company
has already procured the funds
be able
for that?
Or you procure the funds? So
the funds have already been procured for us to start to get the buses, the 20 better buses.
So that's like a loan to the company,
yes,
to the NBC?
A loan from a commercial bank.
Right.
And a bank will not lend NBC money unless they have analyzed the cash flow properly.
Okay.
Right? So as we always say,
So that's your subsidy right there, Troy? Money has been identified.
Yeah,
So money. So what you're saying, funds have to be put into it. Whatever the source.
Yeah, there has to be the capital investment. That's what we've been saying.
The present bus company can't finance that.
Yeah, well, that's certainly not from the cash flow, but you could get the loan and use this cash flow to debt service. One observation, a listener, and this is just by way, they're wondering whether with the electric buses, the fact that we still import electricity, if it would put a strain on the overall grid. But I don't know if
that's a good question, actually.
I don't know if it's not maybe for you to answer, but it's just
stations will be primarily supplied by solar.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that is used in Taiwan and other places as well.
All right.
That will be the primary source. But if and now with the laws that we have, if there is excess power at the various areas, that can be put into the national grid, and vice versa if there is need. So that will be the primary source, because really for us to be able to say that we are truly benefiting from a transition to away from fossil fuels, right? And more to greater sustainability.
Well,
it would make no sense less sense for us to move to electric buses, but then we would have to be depending on electricity that's produced at a high cost, and that may be partially coming from
fossil
fuels themselves.
Yes,
right?
which
So,
will be, yeah.
That's the whole idea of why we are
Yeah.
going to be using solar as the primary source of power for the charging
Yeah.
stations that the buses will be using.
Yeah, well, I asked a question for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, because that was a question coming from the public.
Yeah.
So it's good to clear that up so
We could put a demand
they get the
on
level
our
of
present
comfort.
system.
Yeah, yeah.
For
well,
sure.
Doc, certainly, thank you for the intervention and the clarity in terms of the pathway forward. And certainly the discussion will continue, and as we start to see the migration towards that new concept and vision that you just outlined, no?
Yeah, well, thank you all for the opportunity. I will, with just a few more seconds here, give thanks to Prime Minister Briceño and my colleagues in Cabinet who have been extremely supportive, and all the various persons that have been a part of making this happen. It's a great team effort, and the media have also been very supportive in really hearing out people's views and allowing us to communicate and share where we are along the way. And I just want to say that as we're going along, we will be continuing to give updates, continuing to get ideas from people, and I'm sure that by the time we reach, God willing, December of next year, we will have something that as a country we can all be proud of. I think that would be a big accomplishment that will have many social benefits, where we can say that we work together as a country and we made it happen, that we in Belize can make things happen that improve our lives. So thanks so much for the opportunity, and wishing everybody a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Same to you. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
we're
we'll take a
21
break.
minutes away from 9. We'll take a break. We'll come back and do the final segment of the show. Good morning again, and we are at the final 18 minutes of our show this morning here on Love FM, Love TV. If you are listening to us and you want to give us a call, while we always say to please talk to us using your device, your phone, is because we know you're listening to us and watching us on television or radio, but when you call us, we need you to communicate with us through your telephone, not through the radio or the TV, because those have delays. So, good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay.
Last that call.
Probably wrong number.
Yeah, just switching gears a little bit. Like I said, the elephant in the room is the Mira situation.
Let me ask you a question. According to the news on that same story in Mira, is that he himself asked for the leave.
Leave of absence. That's how it's
Do you
been
think
reported.
the PM was surprised, or the PM probably, they advised him to do that, make it look better publicly?
Well, he's a colleague and he needs to be viable in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air. This is Love.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling from Riga.
Riga.
I just want to call and ask Dr. Zab that the very same passion with which he's going towards the bus company and that level of excellence, I really like what they're doing with it. I'd like him to be as passionate about representing Dangriga. I'm not feeling him in Dangriga. There's nothing new, no kind of new economic activity, nothing on the culture side. I know they're opening the welcome park and all that for the tourism business. But we want to see some economic activity and development here in Dangriga. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm sure your rep is listening.
Well,
I would think he's still listening, so he'll know how to respond with his
respond to
community
that,
in reference
the
to
problem
those
with that
things.
is that because in the news recently, like you said, they are doing a lot of cultural investment in Riga, and also I think call centers are being introduced and other. So it's not that they're not.
Everything is relative to where you're standing, because you could look at the glass half full or half empty. For many persons, the Mira situation is a end of the world situation. The sky is falling.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air.
Can I get on the morning show?
Yes, you're on the morning show. This is Love.
Oh, good morning. I just have some comments to make here. One of them is Pinello got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. The next one was the Oscar winner also got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Now, I listened to your radio station, and at one point, not on this morning show, but in previous, they were saying for people to give their names when they speak about certain things.
Now,
in the case of this Belmopan era, you have to be very careful, because these people have their henchmen, and these people also have people who are ready to take charges. So you don't want to put yourself out there and get exposed. Now, in case of the Oscar winner, he put himself, and you know what he says? He put himself as a plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. And you all know what that means. And for the public, look up that word, then you'll see where the Oscar winner is in this situation. And then there was one attorney that came on the same station, and he's a defense attorney. But do you know that defense attorney and politicians are the most deceptive person in the world, and more so in Belize?
I'll take your word for that, sir.
The defense attorney knows that a person is guilty 90% of the time, because they get the information from them as to what occurred. But because they are paid, they are there to try to get you off. No, let me hear from you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, when you when a doctor takes an oath and they bring a criminal for him to save, and he knows he's a criminal, he's not going to say, you're a criminal, so I'm not going to save you. I mean, an attorney is definitely to defend you, right?
The bottom line is you decide as the attorney based on what has been disclosed with you, because you do have that client attorney privilege in terms of your secrecy. But the point is, you take a moral decision whether or not you want to represent the client.
Right.
That's a decision. If you believe that it's a monetary issue and you're there to defend the individual and not worried whether he's guilty or not, but just to get him off, there's different ways how people will approach, I would assume.
Like you said, it's a moral
decision.
Yeah.
So
but you take an oath to defend.
Yeah.
And you defend to the best of your ability.
Well, once you start taking somebody's money, that's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing.
You have an obligation.
Yes.
And you
that's why he's paying you.
You can, if it is felt as though that you didn't give me the right representation, I have a right to challenge you. I have a right to carry you in front of the authorities to say that I think that you didn't represent my best interest because of X, Y, and Z.
Mr. Nas said that.
Yeah, right.
He said that
but attorneys have been taken in front of the commission as well, the Judicial and Legal Commission, and has been reprimanded as a result. So you have recourse.
We are responding to the caller not because of any particular love for attorneys or anything.
Well,
but the caller is saying, he's throwing it out there and say because he's a defense attorney, he's going to.
Hideous jokes are about attorneys everywhere.
So, but we are just saying in any profession, you will have your moral values, you will have your make decisions, how you feel right about it. And like I said, if in many cases in the system, like in the U.S.,
attorneys campaign. They advertise for you to come.
Are you in an accident? You come here.
We don't do that here in Belize as a practice, but in the U.S. you get.
Hello, Carlo. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I have an answer for the person called from Danguja concerning. He said that see nothing new in Danguja that the minister will do. But you have to wait 2 years because this bus business, I could tell you, there are nothing easy.
No.
So if he have to continue dealing with this bus business, he will have to neglect his constituency. Definitely sure I could tell you because bus thing, you know how long we did in this bus thing to try to get it straight. So many people hate hat. Some of them end up in a stroke. Right? And still not get it straight. So he have a big task, I tell you the truth. And I take off the hat so if he could handle it, very good. But if he can't, you have to give up.
All right.
So you have to wait 2 years to see something happening in Danguja because we have a great job to deal with. Great job.
Here you go.
And I have an next, to add to that, you get a next big job. You deal with this whole my land rights now.
Oh, yeah. That's
a startup. That's another big one.
Another issue.
But that's why we say that the system, the ministers should be there to deal with their constituency. And you have the experts who will deal with these bureaucratic and these
it's an area
understandings that we make.
I mean, oftentimes I am challenged on this discussion because people try to label you because in every process there's due process.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And what we do, what normally get reported and the way how we report it is not due process.
It's the process
that's not how it works. It's a conclusion that you normally come up with, but that's not what is really sometimes what happened.
And hello caller, you're on the air. This is Love.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's me again.
Yes, sir.
And I wouldn't have called back except that a second person called, is it?
Yes.
So, and it's not being defensive.
Pull your tongue.
I was a couple of weeks ago, a gentleman called in and said that I should be ashamed of the bus system. I did not fire back at the gentleman. I agreed with him that I was equally ashamed of the bus system. We should all be what we've had there over the years, and nobody has really addressed it properly. So My callback is not because we're being, reactive
Defensive.
to people calling about proper criticisms of anything. Anybody who knows how I have approached things is that I welcome criticism. I beg for it because it improves what I do. Now, at the same time, though, with the same amount of passion, if information is not accurate or it is lacking, I feel it that it's incumbent on me to also share the facts so that people know. In the case of Dangriga, the multipurpose park, which is 10 acres, the Welcome Center is just one building. It's the building that you pass through that has bathrooms. It will have a music studio. It has a little booth for police. That's just the Welcome Center. But the whole property is a multi-purpose park. The first caller would be able to go out there and confirm to you that we have 8 booths. These are small buildings that have been built that will be there for people to sell to people who are visiting, right? That's economic activity. 2 years ago when we had the sign, we had a sign that said, multi-purpose park coming soon. Many people jumped on social media and said that are just political gimmickry and a lone lie and this and that. No, you can go there and touch it. If you walk right up into the building, you might hurt yourself because it's really there. You will knock yourself on your head or whatever. In other words, what we said we were going to do, thanks to many, many people who have contributed, the BTB, putting down $2 million investment already for the first phase, right? We are grateful to them, to Minister Mala, who has had faith in the project. That's just phase 1. Phase 2 of that project will have a big parking area in front of the Catholic Church that can be used by the church and the school and for football events. That parking lot will go halfway towards the sea. In front of that, the phase 3 will be for a hotel and a convention center. That's coming probably the following year. Okay, all of that is economic activity that will impact our people directly. But again, it doesn't fall out of the sky. The second caller said, well, we have to wait 2 years. The bus system deteriorated from 2004 to 2025. That's 21 years of deterioration. I guess solve even in 21 months. Why? Because you have a lot of people who are working in the bus system. What we under fire all on it? No, we have to retrain them as well. We have to get them into uniforms and train them and take time for those people. So when I say that after 2 years we could assess the bus system, it also means not just that we will have brand new electric buses and nice terminals, but that we will have people who are trained properly who can serve our people. The multipurpose park is now there, that is coming alive in Dangriga. Something that 2 years ago, it was just a big open area that had been sitting there for decades, nothing being done. The Commerce by Port, that is coming on stream as well. Finally, they got their environmental compliance approved, and now work will begin there on a marina, and they can start to move forward with bringing in small cruise ships. Right? Those are things that are happening in Dangriga, but it is coming on stream. People want that you just snap your finger and everything happens overnight. It doesn't work like that. But I just thought that I would call in to compliment the callers because, yes, we want more economic activity, but you can't make it sound like there's nothing happening because then you will get me for call back in and I will correct you on that, as I'm doing now, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Minister.
Do we generally attack every serious conversation? Is that a part of our culture? We are
we're cynical.
the minute you start to talk about,
we are cynical.
We don't want to debate.
You see,
we don't want to debate idea. We start to label you because that's our defense mechanism. Whenever we can't win the argument, we start to label. We start to get to try to back you up in a corner. So
if I take a position to say, listen, let there be an investigation, irrespective of what you're seeing, that does not, for argument's sake, if you take the mirror situation and it says, whatever you see there, we will not argue whether it's nepotism because we'll accept that. Yeah. But that does not also breed corruption. But so we have to do the investigation. Yeah. And then if there is any sign of where you circumvented the procurement protocol and we didn't get value for money, then that is corruption.
Then that's corruption.
But you have to wait until you get that evidence. People don't want to hear that. They want to say, oh, well, you the PUP or you the UDP or so, think that would faze me and back me up. On the contrary, that make my position even harder.
That's what I'm
you cannot faze me when I am taking a educated position. And I am saying that for the general public so that we start to look at things objectively. Because we make tabloids lead us. Don't be fazed by tabloids. The information is just what it is, just information. Determination is done when you have the facts. Because what happened oftentimes...
I get your point, Troy. The thing is, I think that we also have a culture of not getting closure. You know, we have these issues that happen, and you have to accept that as a public we become sarcastic. You know, because you say investigation, and what happens? It just dies, and we never have closure until the next big problem, and we start all over again.
Remember, we are the ones that give ourselves the label that we're a 7-day wonder and 5-day wonder and being blow over like a leaf breeze, and so we are the ones who gravitate towards those kind of mentality. You know?
We ourselves
exactly
allow that to happen.
Exactly. So the point is that we must have stick-to-itiveness. We must be able to say, okay, now you said this investigation, and you want 90 days or you want 3 months, well, where is it? We are the ones that has to keep the pressure on. When I say we, meaning the Belizean people. Us, all of us.
True.
Because we always want somebody else.
We need tools and we need ways how we can do that. And we come back, well, we got to go, but we come back all again.
We do it by pressure. We do it by, you see what happened just now? We provide that privileged platform right now. Love is the only one that provides a privileged platform that gets into the minds of the common local Belizean who feel brave enough to make that privileged call.
And call and bring it up. We may think it's unfair sometimes, but again, I bring it back that we need generally to have a serious conversation and to debate things, not just oppose it because I don't like you or because I think differently. We need to understand the subject and discuss it in its entirety.
The general concept,
and that's the way we are going to get
the general concept is for us to be very sober when we approach all of these things, because politics is very emotional, and
let our emotional
rule. I get that, because oftentimes, especially if it is that we have opposing political views, we are going to be extremely emphatic in terms of our opposition, and so anything that opposes an idea or so that you're thinking, you are going to want to label it, and you're going to get very emotional about the process. And I get that. And that is why, for me, I always try to hone in on what is factual. Most times most times the opposition is upset by that, not the general people. Because most sensible thinking people understand that that's how the world works.
That's how
the world works on facts. Politics and propaganda.
They always look at the negative and they're opposing.
Exactly.
Like somebody mentioned, they say, you notice this government every minute they minister this, or then they put in suspension. I say, is that bad?
No.
Actually, that's good.
Well, like I said, a glass can be half full or half empty, depending on where you look at it. But we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go.
It's 9:01. I want to say thank you to Armin Arana for doing a good job as usual on Love FM. I want to certainly thank our master control operator, William Usher. He has an assistant now, and you need to get his name.
Yes, he has an assistant, yes.
As well as Manuela Yuso, producer, and Richard as well for assisting, and Andrew Jones for streaming, all those behind the scene who made this show possible, all our callers, our guests this morning from UNICEF as well. We're certainly glad that everybody could have joined us this morning, Ernesto, along with yourselves. yourself, and all of yours throughout the length and breadth of this beautiful jewel of ours.
We want you to take care of yourself.
Thank you for
be kind to
tuning
somebody
in
today.
Yes, sir. And those of you streaming, we certainly thank you. And we know you have choices, Ernesto, where you get the information and entertainment from.
And some of those choices are prettier than us.
Indeed, we will not argue that. Indeed, and of course, we're glad that you choose love, and because you choose love, we always say, believe
and beyond.
Yeah.
Thanks
for
for
choosing
choosing
love.
love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, Belize, and good morning. I say good morning, Belize, and good morning. And how are you this morning?
Every morning.